The story begins with a car racer named Sonny Hayes. Right now, he's in the middle of a high-speed race. One of his rival teammates has just overtaken him, so Sonny has no choice but to push harder and take the lead back. Without even touching the brakes, Sonny keeps pushing his car forward. Watching this, his team members get nervous. But this reckless, daring style is exactly what defines Sonny Hayes. With sheer speed and control, Sonny manages to put his team back in the lead. He even tells his fellow driver, "Don't let this lead slip away." And in the end, they win the race. But Sonny has one strange habit: he never touches the trophies. For him, it's always just about the money. As soon as he collects his payment, he walks away. This team had hired him for a one-race deal, and now that the deal is done, so is he. Later, while sitting inside a small laundromat, Sonny is approached by an old friend, Ruben. Ruben is the owner of an F1 racing team. But right now, his team is drowning $300 million in losses. They're at the very bottom of the standings. And if, out of the 9 remaining races of the season, his team doesn't win at least one, the board could shut them down and put the entire team up for sale. That's why Ruben has come looking for Sonny. But Sonny isn't interested. Ruben tries to convince him, reminding him that Sonny has years of experience, while his other driver is just a rookie. Together, Ruben insists they could make a great team. Ruben pleads and persuades, then finally leaves behind flight tickets, hoping Sonny will reconsider. The scene now shifts to Ruben's rookie driver, Joshua Pierce. He's busy practicing his laps on the track. Once he finishes, the team starts inspecting the car, trying to identify flaws and see what more can be improved. The technical director, Kate, asks Joshua for his input. But despite being a driver, Joshua can't give any useful feedback. Then Joshua's manager pulls him aside, warning him that this team might be sold off soon. If that happens, Joshua must prove to the world that he's a truly great driver. Otherwise, his career could slip away before it even begins. And at that very moment, Sonny Hayes walks in. Ruben is overjoyed to see him, but the rest of the team looks puzzled. Ruben announces that Sonny is here for a trial run. But no one likes the idea. Not even the team principal is on board. Sonny simply says, "Fine. Give me Joshua's lap time as my target. If I'm even 1 second slower, I'll walk out on my own." Sonny studies every detail about the lap in the car. Then he heads out onto the track. The crew members start placing bets, curious about how he'll perform. But as soon as he starts, Sonny's car spins out in the middle of the track. He quickly straightens it out and restarts his lap. At first, he struggles to control the car properly. He's actually running slower than Joshua. But in the final sector, Sonny pushes the car harder. That's when suddenly the car slams straight into the barrier. Everyone rushes to check on him. But Sonny, calm and collected, immediately points out all the flaws in the car to Kate. And when his lap time is revealed, he has actually completed it 500 milliseconds faster than the set benchmark. The story then shifts back to Joshua. His manager advises him to boost his public image and engagement. At home, Joshua vents to his mother. He tells her that if the team doesn't start winning, his seat in Formula One will be in jeopardy. And now, to make things worse, some old guy has joined their team. Meanwhile, news spreads across the media. Sonny Hayes is returning to Formula One. His career had ended 30 years ago, after a devastating accident. He did make a comeback 10 years later, but nothing worked out for him. At one point, Sonny had even worked as a cab driver in New York City. And now, he's joining a team that has never once finished in the top 10 in its entire history. Soon after, a press conference is held with both Sonny and Joshua. Joshua, with sarcasm, tells the media, "Our team is now giving opportunities to old men." The reporters then turn to Sonny, asking him about his personal life, how he once lived as a gambler, and how he's been married 3 times, none of which lasted. The time finally arrives for the first race. Sonny reaches the track even before Joshua. Meanwhile, Joshua's mother insists that he apologize to Sonny for what he said at the press conference. So, Joshua reluctantly gives Sonny a forced apology. Both Ruben and Sonny are nervous about this race. Just before it begins, Ruben introduces Sonny to an investor named Peter Banning. He's the only board member who genuinely wants to see this team win. The race begins, and as Sonny sits in his car, he starts questioning himself. What am I even doing here? The formation lap begins, where drivers warm up their tires. But Sonny doesn't move forward. The commentators quickly notice, saying Sonny has been out of racing too long, and maybe he just doesn't understand this car anymore. Then suddenly, Sonny accelerates. He lines up last on the grid, and everyone realizes it was all just a trick. Now, his tires are much hotter than everyone else's, which means he has the advantage. Sonny uses this edge to start overtaking one car after another. He even passes a Red Bull. But once their tires heat up too, they reclaim their lead from him. Meanwhile, Joshua heads to the pit stop. It takes 7 seconds. When Sonny comes in, his stop takes even longer, over 9 seconds. Now both teammates are running close to each other on track. Joshua radios his crew, demanding that Sonny let him pass. But Sonny refuses. He won't give up his position. Soon, the two teammates are fighting each other. Ruben, watching from the pit wall, loses his temper. And in the chaos, Sonny and Joshua collide. Both cars are out of the race. Joshua storms back in anger, furious at what's happening with this team. But Sonny tells him calmly, "Mistakes happen. This time it was yours." Sonny also warns the team principal, "Don't ever order me to give up my position again." Later, Joshua tries confronting Sonny again. But as soon as he notices the cameras, he forces a smile for the media. Sonny looks at him and says, "What exactly have you done to be flashing your teeth like that? None of the other drivers out there respect us." Afterward, Sonny heads for an ice bath. But Ruben, still angry, lashes out at him, already regretting his decision to bring Sonny onto the team. In response, Sonny asks him about Kate, the first female technical director in Formula One. Ruben replied, "She's not the kind who's going to fall for your tricks, Sonny." So Sonny went straight to Kate himself, asking her the same question. "How did you manage to make it this far?" Kate already knows that Ruben had warned her to stay away from Sonny. And Sonny, instead of small talk, gets straight to the point. "We can't beat other teams on the straights. Our only chance is in the turns. That's why I want this car redesigned immediately." But Kate replies sharply, "I'll listen to you only after you finish a race." What follows is a contrast between their two drivers. Joshua practicing with high-tech simulations, while Sonny relies on his natural instincts and old-school methods. Their lifestyles couldn't be more different. And slowly, Joshua begins studying Sonny, watching who he used to be and how he trains. The next race day arrives. Joshua tells Sonny, "Maybe today we'll race properly. No heroics." But once again, as the race starts, Sonny and Joshua find themselves battling each other. Then Sonny suffers a tire puncture. He suggests switching to soft tires. The team refuses, warning that in this heat, softs won't last. So Sonny simply refuses to push forward. The team principal yells at him, but in the end they have no choice but to follow his call. Sonny switches to softs and gets back out. Then he deliberately bumps his car's front wing against another, forcing a safety car onto the track. This slows everyone down. Sonny returns to the pits and gets his wing replaced. Then he does the same trick again. Another collision, another safety car. And this time, his risky move ends up helping Joshua. Sonny radios in, "Tell Joshua to keep pushing. Tell him to save his tires." Joshua is currently running in 10th place. Then Sonny deliberately crashes his car into the banners, bringing out a third safety car. This gives Joshua the perfect chance to change his tires. If his pit stop is under 3 seconds, he can hold on to 10th place. And it works. Joshua exits the pit still in 10th. For the very first time in history, Ruben's team finishes inside the top 10. Everyone celebrates. But Sonny turns to Joshua and says, "Don't get too excited about finishing 10th. Sonny reminded Kate about their deal. And this time, Kate actually began working on his advice. The story then takes us to the Italian Grand Prix. Sonny's strategy today was similar to before. He said, "Everyone's eyes will be on me, on my reckless driving. That way, Joshua will be the one to win us this race." The race begins. Using different tactics, Sonny starts helping Joshua climb up positions. Sonny's main target today is Max Verstappen. He slows him down strategically, allowing Joshua to rise all the way up to P4. But then, the weather takes a turn. Rain begins to pour on the track. The drivers now need to switch to wet weather tires. But Joshua stays out, and soon he pushes himself up to P2. So Sonny sets his sights on Verstappen once again, planning to hold him back long enough to push Joshua into P1. Out of the pit stop, Sonny comes out ahead of Verstappen and deliberately slows him down. But by the rules, he must eventually let Verstappen pass. Joshua arrives right behind them, and Sonny sets him up for the perfect overtake. He tells Joshua, "Wait for the straight. Be patient." But Joshua doesn't listen. He rushes the move too early, and because of that, he crashes in a violent, terrifying accident. Sonny immediately stops his own car, rushes to Joshua's flaming wreck, and pulls him out. Joshua is rushed to the hospital. His mother confronts Sonny, furious. "Why did you push my son to take such a deadly risk? He could have lost his life." She refuses to hear any explanation and warns him never to let this happen again. Sonny then faces the media, where reporters hurl accusations, blaming him for Joshua's accident. Meanwhile, Joshua, watching from home, knows he'll be sidelined from the next 3 races. In the meantime, Kate begins making new modifications to the car. Sonny rallies the crew, preparing them for what he calls Plan C combat. In the next race, Sonny finishes P9. After that, he climbs to P7. During this time, Joshua continues recovering. The entire crew works together, pushing harder than ever. And soon after, Sonny manages to finish P5. But Joshua, instead of being inspired, grows jealous. 3 races later, he finally returns to the team. Before the race, he watches fans cheering for Sonny, and envy burns inside him. On the track, Joshua pushes his speed, chasing Sonny aggressively. Then in a reckless move, he collides with him, knocking Sonny out of the race. Everyone is furious. Even Sonny himself loses his temper. He shouts at Joshua, "Don't you ever pull something like that again. If you want to destroy your career, go ahead. I've seen thousands of so-called talents like you come and go. But don't you dare betray Ruben. And don't you dare betray this team." Kate had been watching all of this unfold. After that, everyone headed to Las Vegas. Sonny received an invitation card, and Joshua got the same one too. It turned out Kate had intentionally called both of them there. She told them, "We'll all be out on the streets if you two don't pull off a miracle." Kate decided she would settle who their number 1 driver would be by playing a game of poker. While playing, Kate asked Sonny and Joshua to open up about what problems they had with each other. Sonny advised Joshua to leave social media and his phone behind, and to focus only on driving. Joshua ended up winning the poker game, and he walked off to attend a sponsor's party. After he left, Sonny started flirting with Kate. But Kate shut him down, saying she'd never do that with a teammate, especially since he just lost the game. That's when Sonny revealed his cards and showed that he had actually won. Later that night, Sonny woke up from a nightmare about his accident. He and Kate went out to the balcony and began talking. Sonny opened up about his past. He said, "When I was younger, I was lightning fast. I was going to be the next Formula 1 champion. But then one crash changed everything. I lost it all, even my love for racing. Eventually, I started driving again. Any car I got my hands on, I would drive. And in those moments, I felt happy." As Sonny spoke, he became emotional. Back then, while racing, there were moments where time slowed down. My heartbeat would calm, everything became crystal clear. Now, I'm searching for that feeling again. I don't know when it will come back, but I want to experience it once more. Just then, Ruben showed up. He asked Kate about Sonny, knowing he was inside. Ruben revealed that F1 directors had received a tip that the modifications made to their cars violated the rules. Someone from inside the team had leaked their secrets. Because of that, their cars were now under review, and they'd be forced to race with the old ones. Ruben was furious, insisting they hadn't broken any rules, everything had been pre-approved. The race began, and everything was stacked against their team. Sonny didn't even have his lucky cards that he always kept with him. He started driving recklessly, ignoring the crew's instructions. And because of his careless speed, Sonny got into a brutal accident. At the hospital, Ruben came to see him and asked, "Why do we even play this sport?" He then showed Sonny his medical reports. Sonny had a fractured neck, and due to a severe head injury, he risked vision loss, paralysis, or even death. But these weren't new findings. These reports were from 30 years ago, meaning he should never have been racing again in the first place. Ruben finally gave up. He told Sonny, "As of today, you're no longer part of the team." Joshua, who overheard this from outside, walked away and began practicing non-stop. Meanwhile, an investor named Peter came to visit Sonny. He revealed that the team had been on the verge of collapsing, but after Sonny's arrival, many buyers became interested in purchasing it. Peter gave Sonny a proposal. "I'll create a new team. It'll belong to me, but you'll be the team principal. We'll have a real shot at the next championship. Don't worry about Ruben, I'll give him some honorary title." Peter wanted to finalize the deal after the next race. He also admitted that he was the one who forged those fake documents to sabotage Ruben so the team would fail, and he could take over. The scene then shifted to the final race. Before it began, Joshua confessed to his mom that the accident had been his fault. Sonny had actually told him to wait, but he hadn't listened. Joshua also dismissed his manager, saying all the media drama was just noise. He only wanted to focus on racing. Before the race, he took his entire crew out jogging, a habit he'd picked up from Sonny. Meanwhile, Peter was getting ready to seal his deal, and Ruben knew the team was slipping out of his hands. But that's when Sonny Hayes made his comeback. He brought a legal document stating that Ruben and his team would not be held responsible for Sonny's condition. Ruben brushed it off, saying, "Forget that paper." But Sonny refused to back down. "Even if it kills me, I'll race." Then came the good news. Their modified cars were reinstated, because the supposed documents were proven fake. Peter was shocked to see Sonny Hayes back on the track. The final race of the season began. During the race, Sonny felt a jolt in his body, but he ignored it and kept going. As always, Sonny's job was to slow down the race leaders so Joshua could take the lead. And without a single tire change, Joshua managed to climb into P1. But soon, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc overtook him. That forced Joshua to finally change his tires. To help Joshua regain his position, Sonny slowed down a Ferrari coming out of the pit lane. Now Joshua and Sonny were running in P3 and P4. Because the other drivers still had to make pit stops, Joshua jumped back into P1. All he had to do was hold the lead. But his tires were older than the rest. Ferrari and Mercedes weren't backing down, and Joshua would eventually have to pit. Ruben was starting to lose hope. But then George Russell collided with Sonny. And when Ruben saw what happened, he called it a miracle. The race was red flagged, meaning it was temporarily stopped. This gave every car a chance to make repairs. And more importantly, it meant Joshua and Sonny both got fresh tires. Now they could take the fight to the front. But that accident also raised a question. Had Sonny caused it on purpose? After review, the decision went in Sonny's favor. No penalty was given. The race restarted. Hamilton was in P1, Leclerc in P2, and Joshua and Sonny right behind in P3 and P4. This time with fresh tires. Sonny once again started helping Joshua push forward. Together, they left Leclerc behind. Now only Lewis Hamilton stood between them and victory. But to get past him, one of them had to make a sacrifice. And Sonny chose to do it. He slowed Hamilton down, giving Joshua the lead. But Hamilton wasn't going to give up so easily. He fought back, overtook Sonny, and started challenging Joshua for P1. In the battle, Hamilton and Joshua collided, and both were forced out of the race. That left Sonny in P1. And in that moment, he finally felt the peace he had been talking about all along. He was flying down the track like lightning. Sonny crossed the finish line and fulfilled his dream. Everyone was overjoyed. Joshua was happy too. Ruben secured 3 more years with the team. Peter's plan failed completely. But even after winning the race, Sonny refused to touch the trophy. He simply said goodbye to Kate and walked away from everything. His deal was complete. And with that, his chapter came to an end. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Tell us in the comments how you like the explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Welcome to Movie Caps. Today, I will show you an American action thriller from 2005, titled Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. In the beginning, John and Jane Smith are talking to a marriage counselor. They reveal that their relationship is so boring and stagnant, they can't remember how long they have been married, which they call 5 or 6 years, and cannot even recall when they had sex for the last time. Upon the counselor's question about their first meeting, they tell him they met for the first time in Colombia. Although both were traveling alone, they pretended to be together just to dodge the police, who were investigating solo tourists. At their initial interactions, John introduced himself as a construction executive, while Jane told him she works in tech support. They fell in love after the first few meetings, and decided to get married. At present, both are fed up with the marriage, and barely talk to each other. They occasionally try to initiate the conversations, but most of them end in just a few minutes, as neither of them is ready to discuss anything. After a few days, John comes back to the counselor alone, and shares that he loves her, but their marriage gets quite difficult at times. On the other side, she tells there is nothing serious, but both have their own secrets which they want to hide from each other. Their secrets are out soon, as it's revealed that both work as field operatives with different agencies, and are considered best at their jobs, as they never miss a target. As both work as secret agents, they are bound to keep up their appearances, so they often attend different get-togethers in the neighborhood, although neither of them is interested in it. None of them has told the other about their real jobs, and try their best to hide them from each other. Both are hiding their secret weapons and other important stuff, in safe places at the house, but the other does not know anything about it. Smith, who has established Smith Engineering firm as his cover, performs most of his tasks from that company. One day as he arrives, he receives a call from his handler, who tells him about a DIA prisoner Benjamin Dans, aka the Tank, and orders him to kill him, because he might be a threat to the company's operations. At the same time, Jane is also instructed to kill Benjamin, while being transported from one facility to the other. She sets up explosives on the convoy's route, and decides to blow up the cars, as they cross the secret point set by her. Before she can activate the explosive, John arrives in his Jeep, but she cannot recognize the face, and thinks it's a civilian. Soon she learns he is armed, and planning to attack them, so she shoots at him but he survives. As she tries to recognize him, the convoy arrives in the trap zone, but John fires at her hideout, detonating the explosive and destroying everything inside. She leaves on her bike, while he checks the debris, but can't find anything other than the laptop. John meets his friend Eddie, and tells him that a girl has destroyed his mission. On the other side, Jane gets angry with the stranger who messed up her plan. She receives a call from her boss, asking her to find him in 48 hours, otherwise she might lose her position. Meanwhile, John gets the laptop checked, and finds an address of a building in New York. He arrives at the building, but finds no one can enter without going through the security. As he stands there thinking of a plan, he comes across a label revealing it's Jane's office, and she is not what she always pretends to be. Jane also finds the truth about him, after watching a videotape of the incident. He calls her to find out if there's anything unusual, but she does not disclose anything. After arriving at the house at night, both get suspicious of each other, and stay alert while starting their dinner. They ask about each other's work, but both reveal they have been having some problems at the moment, but will sort it out soon. Both get alarmed by each other's intentions, thinking the other is on the mission to kill them. He brings in the gun to attack her, but she takes the car and drives away. Both want to attack each other, so when he spots the car, she tries to run over him, but he saves himself after jumping on it. Realizing that he might take a lead on her, she leaves the car, and it breaks down after crashing into the fence. He discusses the situation with Eddie, and tells that he does not trust her at all, because if she lied about her job, she must have lied about everything else. Meanwhile, Jane also tells her friend about him, and she suggests killing him. Afraid of his next move, Jane calls her team to check up on her house and find clues about him. Soon, John comes back to the house, but finds out his secret weapons are already gone. He gets angry with Jane and decides to show up at her office, but finds out she was already looking for him. As soon as he arrives at the building, Jane immediately orders her staff to evacuate, and escapes with them. John picks up the destroyed equipment from her office, and starts looking for the clues, while Eddie asks him to kill Jane. John finds a lead about Jane and her team, and decides to raid that place. He arrives at their building and tries to go up through the elevator, but finds out Jane is a step ahead of him and has already disabled it. He calls her, but she warns him to leave town, otherwise she will blow up the elevator, but he provokes her to go on. Although she hesitates, she decides to go with her plan and detonates the explosive, apparently killing John in the incident. She gets worried about him, and tries to find him out, without knowing that he is alive and safe in the next elevator. Jane sits in a hotel alone while crying for him, but he shows up out of nowhere, and tells her that he wants a divorce. Both again threaten to kill each other, but he invites her to dance with him. While dancing, both disarm each other, and think they were just the cover stories for their significant other. Jane gets upset about it and leaves the room, but John knows she must be up to something. Soon he proves to be right, as she creates chaos by setting up the explosive in the hotel, and leaves with the crowd. After getting out, a man informs that something is ticking on him, and he finds out she has left a bomb inside his pocket, which he throws away right before it explodes. While chasing her again, he calls her and threatens to kill her, just like she tried to, but she does not take it seriously. As John knows about her profession now, he wants to confirm whether she loved him or not. He proclaims his love for her, but she tells him he was just a cover for her. He gets upset by thinking it was all about her job, but she does not clarify anything. Both arrive at the house at the same time, but she overtakes him and locks the doors. After going around the house and hiding from her, he finally manages to get inside through the back door, and pulls out his gun from his secret locker. Both attack each other, and start a nasty fight, that destroys the entire house. Both come face to face, with guns pointing at each other. She asks him to shoot, but he lowers his gun, realizing that he cannot shoot her. Both rekindle their love, and share a kiss, before being interrupted by neighbors, who show up at the door asking what happened inside, but John sends them away. Both reveal their secrets, which they hadn't told each other yet. While they talk, they are attacked by someone, and rush to hide at a safe place. While preparing the counterattack, he tells her he was given 48 hours to kill her, and she tells the same. They realize they have been attacked by their respective companies, who try to kill them with a bomb. John throws it away, but it gets under a fuel tank, and blows up the entire house, while they manage to escape right in time. They get up again, and escape in their neighbor's minivan. Meanwhile, Eddie is offered a bounty of $400,000 for killing them, but he turns down the offer. While driving away, John shares more secrets, and tells her he never went to MIT as he had told her, but did a major in history. He also reveals he never liked her cooking, but she confesses she never cooked, and hired someone else to do it. She also tells him that she is an orphan, and hired someone to play her parents at their wedding. Soon, they realize they are being followed in 3 sedans, sent by the companies. Jane initially tries to fight against them, but asks him to switch places with her, and execute a counterattack. Continuing to reveal their secrets, and criticizing each other's fighting tactics, they eventually destroy all of them, and escape again. Both arrive to meet Eddie, and discuss the current situation, revealing that they are being attacked by someone. He tells them their companies are trying to get them down, so they must split their ways, or find another way out. To preserve their marriage, Mr. and Mrs. Smith decide to kidnap Benjamin, and use him to make a bargain with their respective companies. She gets the information about Benjamin, that he is being held under high security, and they decide to get him out. John goes inside, while Jane assists him from outside the building, and they succeed in abducting him from custody. Smith questions him, asking why both companies wanted him dead. He reveals, both the companies found out that they were married, so they jointly hired him to kill them, because 2 competing agents cannot live under the same roof, as it's against their interests. They realize Benjamin was just a bait, to make them fight and kill each other. John finds a tracker from his belt, but before they can do anything, they are attacked again. While hiding, they decide to fight together against them, as John thinks if they run now, they would be running forever. Both jointly fight against them, and defeat them all. In the end, they meet with the marriage counselor again, and tell him that their marriage has been hard, but they worked things through, and it's going great now. John urges him to ask the sex question again, and silently replies 10/10. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.
The story opens in the year 1881, where the famous James Gang operates across the American frontier. This group is feared and respected, known for carrying out numerous bank and train robberies. Under Jesse's command, every member follows his instructions without hesitation, trusting his bold decisions and sharp instincts. One afternoon, the gang gathers in a quiet wooded area, taking a break and eating together. During this moment, a young man named Robert Ford is introduced. Robert is not just another face in the group. He is deeply fascinated by Jesse James and has admired him for a long time. He dreams of becoming part of the gang and earning Jesse's respect. However, despite his enthusiasm, most of the gang members do not take him seriously. They see him as overly eager and inexperienced. However, Robert's older brother, Charlie Ford, is already a trusted member of the gang. Because of this, Robert believes he has a chance to prove himself. He approaches Frank James, hoping to show his worth and gain an opportunity to work alongside him. Robert tries to convince Frank that he has potential and determination.
Charlie's brother?
Yeah. You give me a chance, I get the job done, I guarantee you that.
However, Frank is not impressed at all. He views Robert as someone chasing excitement rather than understanding the dangers of their lifestyle. When Robert continues pushing, Frank becomes irritated and forces him to leave at gunpoint, making it clear that he is not welcome at that moment. Still determined, Robert decides to approach Jesse James directly. He attempts to impress Jesse by mentioning his meeting with Frank and acting confident about his abilities. However, Jesse remains distant and uninterested. He does not see anything special in Robert and chooses not to engage with him seriously. This reaction leaves Robert disappointed, but his admiration for Jesse does not fade.
100 subjects
Good
entertained.
Lord, you know what this stew needs?
Dumplings.
Noodles.
Later that same day, the gang prepares for another robbery in Blue Cut, Missouri. They have information about a train carrying a large amount of money, and they plan to intercept it. The group sets up a trap along the railway tracks and hides nearby, waiting patiently. Late at night, Jesse steps out to observe the surroundings and confirms that the train is approaching. The tension builds as everyone gets ready for the operation. When the train finally arrives, the gang quickly moves into action. They stop the train and climb aboard, taking control of the situation. The passengers become frightened, but the gang ensures that no one interferes. Jesse heads straight to the safe, expecting to find a large reward. He orders the caretaker to unlock it, but when the man hesitates, Jesse reacts aggressively and injures him.
Open that safe. Do it!
Despite their expectations, the safe contains far less money than they were promised. This discovery frustrates Jesse, as the risk they took does not match the reward. To compensate, the gang begins robbing the passengers, taking whatever valuables they can find. During this, the caretaker attempts to respond defiantly, which only angers Jesse further. He attacks the man again, nearly escalating the situation even more. Another gang member steps in and prevents things from going too far.
You down on your knees.
You're gonna have to make me.
Don't shoot him! Don't!
However, Jesse does not appreciate this interference and makes it clear that no one should challenge his authority again. After finishing the robbery, the gang leaves the train and returns to Jesse's Kansas City home. Back at the house, Frank sits alone, appearing distant and troubled. Jesse notices his behavior but does not immediately confront him. Frank eventually leaves without explaining himself, creating a sense of tension. Shortly after, Robert approaches Jesse once again, trying to build a connection. Jesse asks about Robert's age, learning that he is nearly 20 years old and is too young for this lifestyle.
How old are you?
20? I guess I won't really be 20 till...
Meanwhile, Charlie visits Frank and reflects on the night's events. He believes the robbery went well and wonders if the sheriff is actively searching for them. Frank confirms this while Charlie expresses confidence in both himself and his brother Robert, hoping to secure a permanent place in the gang. However, Frank seems uninterested in continuing this life. He lies down to rest and reveals that he does not plan to carry out more robberies. Instead, he intends to find another way to live, signaling a major shift in his mindset. At the same time, Robert spends more time with Jesse, trying to fit in. He shares a cigar with him, feeling amazed that he has taken part in a real robbery. He even brings out a paper where he has written about Jesse, showing how much he admires him. However, Jesse does not show much interest in these efforts. When Robert mentions reading books about Jesse and Frank, Jesse dismisses them as false stories, suggesting that the legends surrounding them are exaggerated. As Robert struggles to handle the cigar, Jesse mentions it, and Robert quickly gives up, embarrassed. The next morning, Jesse sits alone, clearly affected by his brother's growing distance. Before leaving, Frank watches Jesse for the last time. When Robert visits Jesse again, Jesse reflects on how Frank has changed and become quiet. Robert chooses not to comment, sensing the tension. In a sudden and unsettling moment, Jesse handles 2 snakes and tells Robert he has named them after his enemies and cuts off their heads, displaying a cold side of his personality. Afterward, he gives Robert a task, instructing him to inform Dick Little, Woodhite, except Robert himself, to leave his house.
I'll give them names of enemies.
Go tell Wood and Charlie to get the gallons together.
Me too?
You can stay.
Robert feels a strong sense of excitement after receiving Jesse's instruction, and he quickly goes to inform Dick Little and Woodhite about the order. As he delivers the message, their reaction is far from positive. Most of them become irritated and confused as Jesse has asked everyone to leave except Robert. This decision creates tension among them as they begin to question why someone like Robert is being treated differently. One of them assumes that Jesse is simply planning to use Robert for small tasks, believing he will not be given any real importance. As Dick Little and Woodhite prepare to leave, Jesse appears and briefly interacts with them. They express their confusion about his decision to keep Robert close while sending the others away. Jesse makes it clear that Robert will be useful for his personal needs, which only confirms their suspicion, and they make fun of Robert. Despite this, Robert convinces himself that staying with Jesse will be exciting and meaningful, choosing to ignore their insults. Not long after, Jesse moves into a new home in St. Joseph, Missouri, and assigns Robert the responsibility of handling all the moving and setup work. Robert takes on every task with enthusiasm, determined to impress Jesse in any way possible. He carefully watches how Jesse behaves, noticing his mannerisms, his clothing style, and even the way he carries himself. Once everything is settled, Jesse shifts his focus towards spending time with his wife and children, creating moments of normal life away from crime. One day, while Jesse is bathing, Robert unexpectedly appears nearby. Jesse notices his presence and becomes slightly uncomfortable. He notices Robert's behavior and questions Robert's intentions. Jesse hints that Robert might be trying to become like him or even replace him in some way. This moment creates an awkward tension, and Jesse firmly tells Robert to leave, reinforcing a boundary between them.
Go away. Do you want to be like me? Or you want to be me?
After this incident, Robert travels to his cousin Martha Bolton's farmhouse, where everyone often gathers to rest. The farmhouse serves as a temporary refuge, offering food and safety. Martha Bolton rents them a room and makes an earning out of it. During his stay, Robert experiences another strange encounter. While he is bathing, Dick Little approaches him and brings up a serious topic. Dick Little asks whether Jesse has mentioned anything about a partnership involving him and a man named Jim Cummins. Robert chooses not to reveal anything, remaining cautious. However, Dick Little eventually reveals the truth on his own. He admits that he is in collusion with another member of the James gang, Jim Cummins, to capture Jesse for a substantial bounty. Dick Little then shows Robert his revolver as a warning, making it clear that any attempt to expose this plan will have deadly consequences.
Hand me that 6-gun there, Bob.
As mentioned, my name to Jesse. You be careful with that iron, Dick.
This moment places Robert in a dangerous position. However, he acts cool and normal. After finishing his bath, Robert dresses himself in a style similar to Jesse, continuing his habit of imitation. When he returns to his room, he finds some gang members going through his belongings. They are laughing at the books, stories, and pictures about Jesse that Robert has secretly kept. These items represent Robert's deep admiration, but to the others, they appear childish and obsessive.
Ever since he was a child. Woodhite, cross me again, I'll put a bullet through your head.
Robert becomes furious and confronts them, leading to a brief physical struggle. However, Woodhite quickly overpowers him and threatens him, reminding him of his lower status. At the farmhouse, Dick Little's behavior continues to create discomfort. He is shown to be flirtatious and disrespectful, especially toward Martha, who is a widow managing her home alone. After leaving the farmhouse, Woodhite and Dick Little travel together on horseback and eventually arrive at Woodhite's house. Woodhite invites Dick Little to stay for the night, offering him a place to rest. Inside the house, Woodhite's family situation is revealed. His father is very old and has remarried to a much younger woman. During dinner, Dick Little's attention quickly shifts toward Woodhite's stepmother, showing the same inappropriate interest he displayed earlier. Woodhite becomes visibly uncomfortable and warns Dick Little to keep his distance. Despite this warning, Dick Little ignores the boundaries. Later that night, under the excuse of stepping away briefly, he behaves in a way that further proves his lack of respect. Before morning arrives, Dick Little quietly leaves the house, avoiding confrontation. Meanwhile, Jesse begins to hear troubling information about a possible betrayal within his own gang. He learns that Cummins may be working with one of his members to capture him. Determined to uncover the truth, he first visits Ed, who lives alone outside the city. Jesse observes Ed Miller carefully, trying to understand his behavior. He casually brings up topics like marriage and farming, but his true intention is to test Ed's reactions. Ed Miller appears nervous and confused by Jesse's sudden visit.
Your crops come in?
No, I don't got much.
Even though Ed Miller denies any involvement, his anxious behavior only deepens Jesse's doubts. Jesse then insists that Ed Miller accompany him in searching for Cummins, forcing him into a situation he cannot escape. The following morning, Jesse goes to Dick Little's house with a similar purpose. He informs Dick Little that he is looking for Cummins and expects him to join the search. As they travel together, Dick Little becomes increasingly fearful, believing that Jesse might already know about his betrayal. Every moment feels tense, as Dick Little worries that he could be exposed at any second. Eventually, they arrive at a house where only a young boy named Albert Ford is present, who is the cousin of Charlie Ford and Robert Ford. Jesse begins questioning the boy about Cummins and his brothers, hoping to gather useful information. However, the child knows very little and struggles to respond. His confusion only increases Jesse's frustration.
Are you friends of my boss?
We're friends of Jim Cummins.
Your acquaintance.
Jesse drags him outside to the horse yard and begins to beat him harshly. Dick Little watches this unfold and feels uneasy. He attempts to intervene, reminding Jesse that the boy is innocent and too young to be involved in such matters. Despite this effort, Jesse ignores the concern and continues his violent actions. The boy reacts in fear. Eventually, the child manages to escape and runs away, leaving the situation behind. As the moment settles, Jesse begins to realize the severity of his actions. The anger that drove him fades, replaced by guilt and regret. He understands that he has hurt a child without any real reason. This realization overwhelms him, and he breaks down emotionally. Without offering any explanation to Dick Little, Jesse walks away in silence. Time passes, and the season changes. Winter arrives, covering the land in snow. During this time, Woodhite is seen traveling on horseback through the cold landscape. He eventually reaches Martha's farmhouse, carrying anger that has been building for months. Once inside, he informs Martha about Dick Little's earlier actions involving his stepmother. Woodhite reveals that Dick Little behaved inappropriately, and this memory has driven him to search for Dick Little for a long time. While Woodhite sits down to eat, another man reveals that Dick Little is currently staying at the same farmhouse, along with Charlie Ford and Robert Ford, and is resting in an upstairs room.
He tampered with my daddy's wife.
Woodhite's downstairs.
This news instantly fuels Woodhite's anger. Without hesitation, he rushes upstairs, determined to confront Dick Little directly. As soon as Woodhite enters the room, chaos erupts. He pulls out his gun and begins firing. Charlie reacts quickly, jumping out of the window to escape the danger. Before Dick Little can act, Robert makes a sudden decision and shoots Woodhite in the head. The gunshot ends the conflict instantly, and Woodhite collapses, losing his life on the spot. In that moment, Robert saves Dick Little, but also crosses a line that cannot be undone. After the noise settles, Martha and the other man rush upstairs. They are shocked and horrified by what they see. Woodhite lies dead on the floor, and the reality of the situation quickly becomes clear. Since Woodhite is the cousin of Jesse, fear spreads among everyone present. They understand that if Jesse learns about his cousin's death, his reaction could be deadly for all of them. Despite the fear surrounding him, Robert experiences a strange sense of satisfaction. Part of him feels justified. Robert takes responsibility for disposing of Woodhite's body, removing any evidence that could expose them. Time passes, and a few days later, Jesse arrives at Martha's farmhouse. His presence immediately creates tension, as everyone struggles to remain calm. During dinner, Jesse observes the group carefully. When he asks about Woodhite, they all provide the same answer, claiming that he has not been seen for months. Their behavior appears controlled, but fear is evident beneath the surface. To shift attention away from the topic, Charlie begins making fun of Robert. He mentions Robert's collection of books and stories about Jesse, turning it into a joke. Jesse finds amusement in this, but the moment deeply affects Robert. The admiration he once held begins to turn into resentment. The same person he once admired now becomes the source of his growing anger. When Robert is about to leave, Jesse reveals the real reason for his visit. He explains that he is planning a journey and selects Charlie to accompany him. This decision once again leaves Robert on the outside, reinforcing his feelings of rejection.
I come by. Ride with me in a journey or two. It ought to be Charlie.
The next day, Jesse and Charlie leave the farmhouse and return to Jesse's home, where his family is staying. That night, Jesse wakes Charlie and questions him once again about Woodhite. Charlie maintains his position, insisting that he has not seen Woodhite for a long time. Jesse mentions Robert's nervousness and then reveals a dark truth about his own actions. He explains that he had previously taken Ed Miller away and killed him because he suspected betrayal. This confession deeply frightens Charlie as he realizes that Jesse has become unpredictable and dangerous.
Ed Miller. Well, things are not to my satisfaction.
From that point forward, Charlie becomes extremely cautious, constantly aware of the risk. Meanwhile, Robert takes a different path. After Jesse leaves, he secretly goes to the police and provides information about Martha's farmhouse. Acting on this tip, the authorities raid the location and arrest Dick Little. This action marks a turning point as Robert steps closer to betraying Jesse completely. The police commissioner then recruits Robert as an informant. Soon after, Robert is brought before the state governor. During this time, Dick Little confesses his involvement in multiple robberies alongside Jesse. For the governor, capturing or eliminating Jesse becomes a priority, especially with an upcoming election approaching. The governor assigns Robert a dangerous mission. He is given the task of either helping the police capture Jesse or killing him. In return, Robert is promised a large reward and legal protection for his past actions. While these plans are being set in motion, Jesse begins to feel less suspicious and starts planning another major bank robbery. Charlie suggests including Robert in the operation, unaware of the path Robert has already chosen. Charlie agrees that the next robbery should target a bank, believing that 3 men can handle the job better than just 2.
If we could add another fella to the gang, Bob want to know, could he ride with us next time?
With this plan in mind, Jesse decides to meet Robert, who is now working quietly at a small store. After a brief interaction, Jesse brings both Robert and Charlie back to his house so they can prepare together. On the surface, everything appears calm, but underneath, tension continues to grow. Outside the house, away from Jesse's view, Robert shares a secret with Charlie. He reveals the deal he has made with the governor, explaining that they have been given a chance to either capture Jesse or kill him.
Bob, he's our friend.
He murdered Ed Miller.
Fine, Bob, I can't go any further than that right now.
According to Robert, killing Jesse is not just about reward, but also about survival. Charlie listens but remains conflicted, unable to fully accept such a decision. Jesse begins to notice their private conversations and senses that something is not right. This makes him suspicious and slightly irritated, causing him to avoid leaving them alone together. However, as days pass and nothing unusual happens, Jesse starts to feel that his doubts may have been unnecessary. Guilt begins to replace suspicion, and he slowly starts trusting the Ford brothers again. As a sign of this renewed trust, Jesse gives Robert an expensive revolver, showing appreciation and perhaps an attempt to make amends. This gesture affects Robert, but it does not change his plan. Instead, it adds more pressure, as he now has to decide how and when to act. The story moves into the year 1882, and Robert is still searching for the right moment to carry out his plan. He knows that Jesse is extremely fast and skilled with a gun, meaning any mistake could cost him and Charlie their lives. This makes Robert cautious and constantly alert, waiting for the perfect opportunity. One morning, a newspaper arrives with important news. It reports that Dick Little has been captured and has become a government witness. This development increases the risk for everyone involved. Robert quickly tries to hide the newspaper, fearing that Jesse might read something dangerous. However, Jesse picks it up and begins reading it during breakfast. Both Robert and Charlie become tense, expecting the worst, but fortunately, there is no mention of them. After breakfast, Jesse removes his gun belt and starts cleaning a dusty picture frame hanging on the wall. It is a quiet and ordinary moment, but it soon turns into something far more serious. Robert quietly pulls out his revolver and stands behind Jesse, carefully aiming at his head. At the same time, Charlie also draws his weapon, ready to act if needed. As Jesse continues cleaning, he notices Robert holding a gun in the reflection of the glass frame. Before he can react fully, Robert fires his gun. The shot hits Jesse in the head, and he collapses instantly. Hearing the gunshot, Jesse's wife rushes into the room and finds him lifeless, breaking down in grief beside him. Without wasting time, Robert and Charlie leave the house and head straight to the post office. There, they send a telegram to the governor informing him that Jesse is dead. They expect a large reward for completing the mission, but instead of receiving the promised amount, they are given only a small payment. Jesse's body is preserved on ice for several days, attracting attention from newspapers and photographers. Many are willing to pay money just to capture his final image. Despite his life of crime, Jesse is given a grand funeral because of his reputation for helping the poor with the money he stole. Over time, his name begins to grow into a legend. After that, Robert and Charlie move to Manhattan and begin performing a stage play that reenacts the killing of Jesse. The show attracts many people at first, as they are curious to see the story unfold. However, the audience soon turns against Robert. Instead of admiration, he receives criticism and mockery. People begin calling him a coward for shooting Jesse from behind, and this label follows him everywhere. During one performance, when a man in the audience insults him again, Robert loses control.
You want to investigate my courage?
He jumps off the stage and starts fighting, creating chaos. After this incident, the performances are shut down permanently, ending their attempt to profit from the event. Charlie, meanwhile, struggles deeply with guilt. The weight of what he has done begins to affect his mind. Reliving that moment through the stage plays only makes things worse. Guilt-stricken, Charlie writes numerous letters to Jesse's wife asking for her forgiveness, but never mails any of them. Eventually, he reaches a breaking point and takes his own life in 1884, unable to escape the consequences of his actions. Years pass, and Jesse's name continues to live on as a legend. People remember him as a daring outlaw, and his story spreads far and wide. In contrast, Robert becomes known only as the man who betrayed him. The label of coward follows him wherever he goes, making it impossible for him to find peace. Tired of this reputation, Robert leaves everything behind and moves in Creede, Colorado. There, he starts a new life by buying a bar and trying to stay unnoticed. He forms a relationship with a singer who works there and begins to settle into a calmer routine. However, his past eventually catches up with him. One day, a man named Edward O'Kelly enters the bar. This man carries his own reasons and has been waiting for this moment. Without warning, he shoots Robert in front of everyone, ending his life instantly. In the end, the man who killed a legend meets a similar fate, bringing the story to a close.